Whenever U.S. President Donald Trump is not doing whatever that is in the Middle East, he is crying, whining, moaning about his grievances. And that's what I want to check in on. But first, just because we started with this video, I feel like, I know he's doing his fist pump, but I feel like if you did this to somebody and you point at them and they do that gesture, that could be perceived as sexual harassment, I think. Like, imagine, Jaden, if I just looked over you went, well, I feel that I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think that's appropriate. Anyways. So while he's not doing that, he's very upset. Again, always crying victim, always upset about someone daring to speak out against him, saying about him the truth, which we'll look at. And that's, in this first example, Bruce Springsteen. But what did Trump say? Then we'll look at what Bruce Springsteen did. He said, I see that highly overrated Bruce Springsteen goes to a foreign country to speak badly about the president of the United States. Never liked him, never liked his music or his radical left politics, and importantly, he's not a talented guy. Really? He's Bruce Springsteen. Okay. Just a pushy, obnoxious jerk who fervently supported crooked Joe Biden, a mentally incompetent fool and our worst ever president, who came close to destroying our country. If I wasn't elected, it would have been gone by now. Sleepy Joe didn't have a clue as to what he was doing, but Springsteen is dumb as a rock. He couldn't see what was going on, or could he? Which is even worse. Exclamation mark, in parentheses, question mark. This dried out prune of a rock star, his skin is all atrophied, ought to keep his mouth shut until he gets back into the country. That's just standard fare. Then we'll all see how it goes for him. That's threatening. Not as threatening as if I saw this from some stranger, but threatening nevertheless, okay? Nevertheless. And I guess our podcast listener will be confused. Imagine that someone was doing, you know, the whole salt shaker thing. If you're doing if you were to salt shake something into your mouth, it's like that, but with the fist pump symbol. I'm not saying anything about it. I'm just saying it looks weird. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. Bruce Springsteen, the legendary musician who apparently is untalented and a dried out prune or something. This is what got Trump so upset. Oh, by the way, because I do want to play this in its entirety without pausing it, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate the show. So many of you regularly watch and aren't subscribed. It's crazy. It's breaking my heart.
In my home, the America I love, the America I've written about, that has been a beacon of hope and liberty for 250 years, is currently in the hands of a corrupt, incompetent, and treasonous administration. In America, they are persecuting people for using their right to free speech and voicing their dissent. This is happening now. In America, the richest men are taking satisfaction in abandoning the world's poorest children to sickness and death. This is happening now. In my country, they're taking sadistic pleasure in the pain that they inflict on loyal American workers. They're rolling back historic civil rights legislation that led to a more just and plural society. They're abandoning our great allies and siding with dictators against those struggling for their freedom. A majority of our elected representatives have failed to protect the American people from the abuses of an unfit president and a rogue government. They have no concern or idea of what it means to be deeply American. The America that I've sung to you about for 50 years is real. And regardless of its faults, is a great country with a great people. So we'll survive this moment.
An incredible message. Incredible message. I want to circle back to that. As a side note, everything sounds so much more compelling when you have background music. Like, listen, Trump is an authoritarian, all right? So that's one version. Trump is an authoritarian. No matter how many times he jerks his fist, we cannot forget this. He's taking away people's rights because he wants to show his own might. It's much more powerful. It's much more powerful. It really is. You got to just start playing music behind what I'm saying. Okay, in all seriousness though, I love the way he articulates that. Start with why it's so painful to see these American values attacked, right? I think sometimes we jump to the pain and we jump to the criticism of what Trump's doing and why it's so bad. But something is so beautiful and correct, and I think speaks to people's hearts a little bit more when you start with, this is the America I love. He talks about writing about it and singing about it and fighting for it. And so to watch the basic tenets that are supposed to make it something worth being proud of are being attacked by Trump. And then he went through a brilliant list there. No wonder Trump was so upset. Then, and this is getting into a really big update about Trump's entire agenda right now failing. He posted, Republicans must unite behind the one big, beautiful bill. Not only does it cut taxes for all Americans, but it will kick millions of illegal aliens off of Medicaid to protect it for those who are the ones in real need. The country will suffer greatly without this legislation, with their taxes going up 65%. It will be blamed on the Democrats, but that doesn't help our voters. We don't need grandstanders in the Republican Party. Stop talking and get it done. It's time to fix the mess that Biden and the Democrats gave us. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Interestingly, despite Trump having the control over the Republican Party that he does, he posted that, and shortly after, we learned this.
Breaking news, President Trump's legislative agenda, what he calls his one big beautiful bill, just failed to make it out of a key committee. 5 Republicans jumped ship and joined Democrats to vote down the bill.
Yeah, so some of the people killing the bill, you have obviously Democrats, good, in those committees trying to block this because this is the bill that, despite Trump's lies about it, would disproportionately benefit the very tip top while taking away healthcare and food support from low-income Americans. And so it should be blocked. So you have Democrats blocking for that reason, and some Republicans maybe, but then you also have Republicans saying we need to cut more from those programs. So all sorts of reasons that this failed, but it did indeed fail, which is a big setback, and this is Trump's whole agenda. It's not going well. It's really not going well. Not as badly as Tinder went for this gentleman who posted 5 years on Tinder and swiped right 2 million times and got one date. It's time to Thailand Max, bro. Oh. But apparently you have someone who swiped 2 million times on Tinder. 2 million times. That's a lot of swiping. How had 1 million dude go, I'm just going to go to a bar. Like, I'm just going to go meet people. 2 million. That's 500,000. You don't go, maybe I'll hit up my, family friend, obviously not family, but, family friend. One thing though, stop men in Tinder profiles. Stop with the fish. No, do not post yourself with a big fish. As long as a fish is in your hands, a woman won't be. Okay? Please. I beg you. But best of luck to Hayden. I would say pursue different avenues of meeting people. I don't know if Tinder's the spot. And I will say, if anyone goes on Tinder, both genders do this, and they just are on there to see how many people will match with them, but they're not actually looking and dating. That's bad. Don't do that. You're breaking Hayden's heart. So that's going pretty bad. Almost as badly. Or Trump's legislation is going almost as badly as that. Very strong connection there. Then Trump posted the radical left sleaze bags, which has no cards remaining in its illegal bag of tricks, is in a very coordinated manner playing the ref with regard to the United States Supreme Court. They lost the election landslide, and with it have totally lost their confidence in reason. They are stone cold crazy. I hope the Supreme Court doesn't fall for the games they play. The people are with us in big numbers. Bigger numbers than ever before. They want to make America great again. Now, that's just him upset that he keeps losing in court, and even conservative justices seem sort of skeptical of parts of the arguments that he's making. Now, amid all of this, I think it's easy to feel like the Democratic approval rating is so low. Republicans are doing these terrible things. Are we going to get out of this? As Bruce Springsteen said at the end of his statement, I do believe we're going to get through it. And there is some data that should give us some hope about that. Ed Crasty posted a new poll, shows that Americans trust Democrats over Republicans on inflation, which was not the case very recently, government funding, healthcare, education, jobs in the economy, and trade with other countries. The most important issues for those polled were inflation and the economy. And then he goes through the particular numbers there. But just the fact that, yes, the Democratic Party brand needs a rebranding. Hayden needs a rebranding of his Tinder profile, and the Democratic Party needs to sort of redo its Tinder profile, right? Its metaphorical Tinder profile. And maybe we remove for Hayden the fish picture. Maybe we remove for the Democrats the Chuck Schumer picture, okay? I think that's actually a really good connection. I haven't thought about it that way. But that doesn't mean that people aren't seeing, while they're not hyped about either, one is starting to look a lot better. Yes, they were really unhappy with Biden, but then you see, oh, wait, the alternative was this. Maybe we need to reassess a little bit. The Hill reports a second-class action lawsuit. This is on something different, has been filed against Elon Musk's America PAC, alleging that the group hasn't paid voters what they were promised for signing a petition during President Trump's 2024 campaign. So you might remember Musk and the group originally offered signatories and those who refer others to sign $47 for the signature, and each person they refer before raising the amount to $100. But the plaintiffs are saying they weren't paid that money, which we all predicted when Elon was saying he's handing out all this money. Someone's going to be ripped off. That's what we know for sure. Here's some audio during a press gaggle on Air Force One with Trump, where he talks about meeting with Putin, just to get through some of these miscellaneous items.
President, are you planning to call Vladimir Putin? How do you think you would get those talks on track?
We have to meet. He and I will meet. I think we'll solve it, or maybe not, but at least we'll know. And if we don't solve it, it'll be very interesting.
And then did Austin Tice come?
His takes on this have just gotten more and more meaningless. That was so meaningless. And then last little item here, Markwayne Mullen, who's a character, Republican Senator Markwayne Mullen. He's the one who during that hearing was like, you wanna fight me? We're gonna fight. Let's just go ahead and fight. I did MMA or something, which is what you're supposed to, the skill you need in a House hearing or a Senate hearing. He took his ring off. Yeah, I'm gonna bash your face in, but I don't want to hurt my ring. That Markwayne Mullen, he got asked while he was bouncing a bouncy ball, literally, down the halls of the Senate, about Trump's $400 million jet from Qatar, and he said, I don't care.
Excuse me, Senator, could I get your reaction to Trump doubling down on accepting the $400 million?
Sorry, pause. He's bouncing a bouncy ball. What are you in third grade, Mark Wayne? Mark Wayne? That's very confusing. Mark Wayne, one name. Is it one name or is that his middle name? No, I think it's Mark Wayne. Interesting.
Excuse me, Senator, could I get your reaction to Trump doubling down on accepting the $400 million jet from Qatar?
I have zero issue with it.
You have zero issue with it? Do you think it raises ethics concerns or national security concerns?
You ever been to New York and saw the Statue of Liberty? That was a gift too.
Aww. I kind of feel bad. It feels like insulting a kid as he's bouncing his bouncy ball. Is there another word for bouncy ball? It's just bouncy ball, isn't it? You bounce a bouncy ball. That's weird. That seems redundant, but he says, well, the Statue of Liberty was gifted, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. You're right. You're so right. That's so smart. And it was approved by Congress. And then the president didn't get to take it home later. Imagine you walk into someone's house and you're like, is that the Statue of Liberty? I sleep with it every night. No, but Congress approved it, though. That's our issue. Congress is not approving this. And the ownership was transferred to the U.S. government or to whoever has the ownership of it, but not the individual president who is being gifted to. Mark Wayne Mullen. Wayne Mullen. Mark Wayne Mullen. Just pick a name, whatever. Not a big deal. Share your thoughts in the comments. Get the bonus show by clicking that join button below.